Okay. Sure. Okay. Great. So my name is Jenny. I'm the careers consultant for graduate transitions here at the uni, and it's my job to help final year students and recent graduates make the successful transition from university to the working world or to further study or research. And I'm joined today by my colleague Sammy, who I'll let introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Sammy. I work with Jenny to support graduates, and I'll just be looking after the chat and things today. So if you've got any questions, feel free to put them in there.
Great, thank you. So before we get stuck in, congratulations to all our finalists on finishing your degree. We hope that you've been able to relax and enjoy yourselves safely, of course, in line with current regulations. And the reason we put this session on today was because we know that the first step in securing your graduate job is knowing where to look. So today we'll be going through some tips on how you can maximise your graduate job search using lots of different resources and tools and support available to you in order to build a more effective graduate job search strategy and ultimately land your graduate job. As I said, the session will be recorded. It's on speaker view, so don't worry, it's just myself and Sammy. And we won't refer to anyone by name, so you'll be anonymous, so feel free to use the chat box to ask any questions that you have. Okay, Sammy will be monitoring the chat box throughout, but also there'll be plenty of time for Q&A at the end, so don't worry about that. There's still some people joining us, which is absolutely fine. But we'll get started anyway. So you can use the career service for up to 2 years after you finish your course, so after your course completion date. And this means that you can continue to access all of the career support and services available to you as a student, including your one-to-one advice and guidance, Career Connect, which is where you can search for vacancies, register for events, and of course book appointments. So to find out more about your graduate career support package, I would recommend that you come to our event on Wednesday, which is a conversation with careers, new graduate Q&A, as you can see there on the screen. And Sammy will put the links in the chat as well. There we'll cover more of the support available to you in more detail, and there'll be lots of time for you to ask questions as well. Okay. So at the start of most of the sessions, you'll find this slide. And this is just to reiterate that we're committed to offering equal and impartial advice to all of our students and eligible graduates, regardless of who you are or how you identify. And we're very aware that people may have had different experiences of careers advice before uni or outside of uni, and also very different experience of job hunting and recruitment processes as well. So we are committed to helping everyone to the best of our ability, regardless of who you are. And if you'd like to find out more about our equality, diversity and inclusion policies and find out how we can support you with any specific needs you may have a look at our website. Okay, so here's the schedule for the hour that we have together. So we'll be with each other till midday, 12 p.m. noon. There's a lot of information, so please remember to take notes. You know, there's a lot of media around graduate jobs and how they've been impacted by the pandemic, and it can be hard to know really what sources to trust. So we'll start by debunking some myths around the graduate labour market in the UK, and then we'll move on to job search strategies, which are strategies you can implement right now to start looking for graduate jobs, including information on where you can look for graduate work. Then I'll give you a really short overview of the tools and resources you can use to support your graduate job search. Before we finish, there should be about 20 minutes for questions, and we'll get through as many as we can. And then at the end, I'll let you know how you can stay in touch and ask any questions that we don't get round to answering. Okay. So, as I said, we will cover a lot today, and the slides that are in the presentation also act as a sort of workbook because they're full of hyperlinks to different resources and more information and sources. So can I ask that you please register now so we can send you the slides afterwards, and that means that you have access to all of the links. So you can scan the QR code with your phone there or visit the bit.ly link. And Sammy, if you wouldn't also mind just sticking the link in the chat, that would be fantastic. So fab, okay. I'll give you a couple of moments to do that. But yes, just make sure you're registered so you can access all of the things that we talk about. Fab. It's in the chat there for anyone who has just joined. And I should say, make sure that you're muted and your cameras are off. You can always unmute yourself or turn your cameras on if you want to ask any questions. But during the presentation element, if you wouldn't mind just muting and turning off your camera. Okay. So let's get started by looking into some of the common misconceptions about the UK graduate labour market in summer 2021. So this is where the fact versus fiction element comes in of the presentation. So there are no jobs. This is one of the most common statements I hear, and it's very much a sweeping statement. Actually, the situation is a lot more nuanced than that and actually optimistic. So while it's true that employment levels are still below their pre-pandemic levels, of course, we're still seeing real tangible improvements. So according to the ONS, I'll refer to them quite a lot, that's the Office for National Statistics, the number of payroll employees has increased for the 5th consecutive month in the UK. In fact, from February to April of this year, there were almost 700,000 estimated job vacancies, which is a growth of 8% compared with the last quarter, with most industries displaying increases. So that's really positive. And the ONS have also found through a report that the volume of online job adverts on the 14th of May had increased across all categories compared with the 7th of May. And it was actually 114% of its February 2020 average level. So there are jobs coming through on the job search platforms. Actually, 2 weeks ago, the volume of UK online job adverts on the 20th of May was at 127% of February 2020 average level. So that's up 8 percentage points from the previous week. And KPMG and REC, that's the Recruitment and Employment Confederation, they have an ongoing report on, it's called UK Report on Jobs. And one of the more recent editions found that due to the improved market confidence and a further reopening of the UK economy so far, they saw an unprecedented increase in permanent roles being advertised. And actually May saw the sharpest increase in permanent placements in over 23 and a half years. And they also said that temporary roles have rose rapidly, expanding at the quickest rate for more than 6 years. So positive, we're getting there. There's more roles coming in, there's more roles being advertised. We're still at not quite at pre-pandemic levels, but it is improving. However, that report from KPMG and REC that I was talking about, they also found that staff availability had decreased, which means fewer people are going for these jobs. And there are quite a lot of reasons for this, but I think one of the main ones is, one of the main factors is probably around the uncertainty around the pandemic and new variants, etc. People still might be reluctant to apply for new jobs. There's also fewer EU applicants and a lot of staff are still on furlough. But this means in order to make roles more attractive to potential applicants, starting salaries are actually increasing. So starting salaries for permanent staff rose to the greatest extent since September 2018, while temporary wage inflation hit a near 2-year high. So we're seeing salaries gently increase as well. And that's worth keeping in mind. That the UK report on jobs covers all jobs in the UK, not just graduate jobs. I should point that out. So, of course, it is important to be realistic when it comes to starting salaries for graduate jobs. You know, remember to look at the whole package, the skills, the training, the experience you'll get, flexible working policies, rewards and benefits, etc. But nonetheless, it's positive. And this point actually needs leads quite nicely into our second myth. There are no graduate jobs. So before I was talking about jobs in general, now I'm talking about specific graduate jobs. And this isn't true either. So the Office for National Statistics reported a 23-point increase in graduate job vacancies from the start of April to the start of May this year. And last Tuesday, when I was putting together this presentation, we had almost 700 full-time graduate job vacancies advertised on Career Connect. And you can actually meet a couple of these employers who are recruiting now on Thursday at Future Week Fair. I'll cover that in a bit more detail later on, but we have over 25 employers with live graduate vacancies on Thursday at our online Future Week Fair, and they're all here specifically to engage with the University of Manchester students and recent graduates. And there's loads. We've got civil service, Atkins, Amazon, Frontline, there's absolutely loads. Okay, so on to our third myth. I have to move to London to get a good graduate job. I hear this quite a lot in careers guidance appointments, but it is a myth that all graduates migrate to London after university. Of course, you might want to live and work in London, as lots of graduates do, but it's not the only place you can enjoy a successful and varied career. I've already mentioned that the ONS, Office for National Statistics, have reported that the volume of UK online job adverts has increased across all the UK compared to the previous week. However, there are regional fluctuations. So actually for the past 3 months, ending in March 2021, the highest unemployment rate estimate in the UK was in London, 6.8%. And the lowest was in the Southeast, 3.4%. So it's worth keeping in mind, you know, London is a great path for a lot of people, but if you don't want to move to London, that's absolutely fine. There are lots of other job opportunities in other cities and areas and regions within the UK. And of course, globally, but for this session, we're focusing on the UK graduate labour market. So to sort of back up what the ONS report was saying, that UK report on jobs that I mentioned in the last slide from KPMG and REC, it found that the north of England saw the steepest increase in permanent staff appointments of all 4 monitored English regions, although rates of growth were also sharp elsewhere, but the north saw the fastest. So that means that at the moment we're seeing more new vacancies come out of the north than the south of England. And again, closer to home on Career Connect last Tuesday, we had 191 opportunities in Greater London, but 258 in the Northwest, mostly in Manchester. That's 26% more vacancies in the Northwest compared to Greater London on Career Connect on Tuesday last week. So that confirms that you don't have to go to London to get a graduate job. And in fact, a lot of our recent graduates don't immediately move to London or even at all. So I used LinkedIn's alumni search tool, and that records almost 250,000 University of Manchester alumni. And I found that according to that tool, we had 34,000 alumni working in London. Of course, the numbers are going to be much higher, but that's just on LinkedIn, compared to 46,000 living in Manchester. And we also have thousands living in Liverpool, Leeds, Birmingham, Cardiff, there's Glasgow, Edinburgh, Belfast, not to mention internationally. And I'm not saying that London isn't a great option and there aren't lots of great graduate job opportunities, but I'm just saying it's not the only option. There are lots of opportunities elsewhere in the UK, including Manchester, including if you want to stay here. And to find out more, actually, I've just put on the screen there 2 events. So Returning Home, Planning Your Career Development is for international students who may wish to return home after finishing their course. And tomorrow as well, we've got a session on relocating as a new graduate. That's a new session. We're hoping that it's good. We've got an alumni panel of alumni who have moved to different regions, moved to different regions, for graduate work. And we're going to hear more about how they settled in, some of the practicalities. How do you find flatmates? How do you make new friends? How do you navigate a new city? And also sort of how to find more regional jobs as well. Okay, so next, Another concern I hear a lot among our final year students and graduates is about work experience. And this is very, very understandable. It's natural to be worried about a lack of experience this year, because there's no doubt this year has been tough. You've not had access to the same face-to-face opportunities as previous years, especially when it comes to lab and clinical experience. So work experience is a very valid concern. And actually, the importance of it hasn't decreased either, despite these obstacles. So the ISE, which is the Institute for Student Employers, found that 78% of employers agreed that graduates who had completed some form of work experience were more skilled than those who hadn't. So that's a fact. Work experience is important. But it's not a fact, it's actually false, that you're unable to get work experience at the moment. The good news is there are loads of ways you can gain work experience, develop skills, and boost your employability. And I'll go into more detail about these during our session tomorrow on boosting your CV during your graduate job search. So definitely sign up for that if you want to find out more about how to boost your CV while searching for graduate jobs. But I've just included a few ways you can gain experience and skills on the screen here. So do you see what I mean about this being like a workbook? There are a lot of hyperlinks and to link through to different resources. So remember to register so you get access to that. So last Tuesday, again, we had over 130 summer work experience type opportunities on Career Connect. And in addition to that, we had over 100 part-time opportunities. And you also have the option of undertaking volunteering, and that includes online volunteering or boosting your skills through an online course. There are loads of online courses. There's ones on design and branding, project management, analytics, Excel, all these sorts of things. And there are also lots of virtual work experience opportunities through Forage. I don't know if many people know about that, but Forage works with large organisations like Deloitte, KPMG and Clifford Chance across a range of sectors like marketing, business and IT. And these virtual work experience programmes are all self-paced. They're free to University of Manchester students and recent graduates. You don't have to apply for them, and you can do as many as you want. So they are really, really great to have on your CV. And join tomorrow's session to find out a bit more about that. Okay, so the next myth we have is I need to get a graduate scheme. It's a myth that the only way you can start a successful graduate career is by securing a graduate scheme. It is true that graduate schemes can be fantastic opportunities, and they help you find out more about the organisation, the sector, enhance your skills, often through rotational placements, and you can receive expert training and networking opportunities as well. However, only a small proportion of the UK graduate job market is made up of graduate schemes. Most graduates are actually employed directly into individual positions, both within small and large organisations like universities, museums, local government, media organisations, charities and businesses specialising in everything from IT and engineering to finance and health and social care. So these are called graduate entry-level roles, and many are with small or medium-sized businesses or small to medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. You'll hear me talk about that for a couple of, in a couple of sessions. So as you can see from the screen, the number of people employed by small or medium-sized businesses in the UK has steadily increased between 2010 and 2020. And many graduates also start their careers by undertaking a paid graduate level internship, which is graduate level work for a short period of time. It's usually a year or less. So to find out more about working for a small or medium-sized business or an SME, have a look at our guide to working within a small business, which can be found on our website. Or you can also join our graduate guide to SME session on Friday morning. I would definitely encourage you to join that, because that's where you can find out more about how to search for these jobs with these kinds of businesses. And you can also meet a panel of alumni who have started successful graduate careers within SMEs. Sometimes, not always, sometimes graduate jobs with SMEs can be less competitive than the sort of big graduate schemes, because a lot of people don't recognize the name of the organization and don't fall for that trap. Look at the role itself, look at what you'd be doing, look at your responsibilities, think about what you can learn, what skills and network you'll be able to gain from that opportunity, less so on the organization name. And then as well as graduate schemes and direct entry level roles, there are also graduate internships. As I mentioned, that's the short period of graduate level work experience, usually a year or less. An example of a graduate internship scheme is Manchester Graduate Talent, MGT. So some of you might have heard about that. Others won't. For the ones that haven't, MGT sources paid graduate level work in Greater Manchester for 2020 and 2021 graduates from the University of Manchester. So to find out more about MGT, you can have a look at the website, you can join the Facebook group, sign up for the vacancy bulletin, and you can also register for our 2 MGT events on Friday. There's an employer networking session and there's an alumni panel event. And we have lots more information on our website about the differences between graduate schemes versus direct entry graduate level roles versus graduate internships. Bit of a mouthful, but if anyone has any questions about that, stick them in the chat and we'll have a look later on. So our final myth is soft skills don't matter. So a lot of graduates put energy into evidence hard skills on their graduate job applications. And this could be experience with certain software, it could be technical skills, your language fluency, your driving license. And of course, these are really, really important, but soft skills are also really important and they should not be forgotten. So again, the Office for National Statistics, which was my best friend when I was creating this presentation, they found that 11% of businesses reported an increased demand for soft skills. So not just a demand for soft skills, an increased demand. Employers want graduates who can start work, can manage their relationships effectively, and who have the skills that they're able, so they're able to do what they were hired to do, of course, with necessary training, etc. So in a recent report, employers have stated that they want graduates to be able to manage their career, manager, and colleagues. So managing your manager is sometimes called managing up. And this requires the ability to manage up as well as negotiation skills. So on this slide here, when we break this down, you can start to think about the kinds of skills required for these 3 separate abilities that lots of graduate employers really want. So let's look at managing your career, your manager, and those around you. What sort of skills would that entail? You think about self-motivation, self-discipline, self-awareness, adaptability and flexibility. You'll have gotten this through your university experience, having studied online. Resilience, independent working, lots of ways you can evidence these skills. When you look at your ability to manage up, which is sort of developing an effective relationship with your manager, you need communication skills, including active listening, ability to work as part of a team, collaboration skills. And finally, when you look at ability to negotiate and influence, you're talking about networking skills, interpersonal skills, leadership, public speaking, persuasive skills, conflict resolution, and decision making. All these skills you can gain through work experience, part-time work in, say, retail or hospitality, your course, any volunteering that you do, lots of summer jobs, internships. So I would say have a look at the transferable skills on our website to help you think about how you've acquired, developed, and strengthened these skills before, and think about how you can evidence them in applications and interviews. Okay, so I thought I'd finish all the myths with a fact. Digital skills are important. So again, the ONS found that 11% reported an increased demand for basic digital skills, 11% of employers. So that's basic digital skills. 8% reported an increased demand for advanced digital skills. So the ISE, the Institute of Student Employers, reported in March that graduate employers, were most concerned about coding and programming, job-specific technical skills, and data handling and analysis. So before you panic, if you don't have those skills, you will have already acquired lots of digital skills through your time at university, especially through online study. And we actually have a number of alumni stories to help you think about how you can further upskill in this area from home, and also how you can further enhance your digital skills and develop new ones. And on the career service blog, again, not many people know about the career service blog, but it's quite a treasure trove for more specific information. We have lots of articles full of resources to help you learn how to code, improve your data analysis skills, and upskill digitally in general. And actually, I don't know if I've said it there, but oh yes, online training courses. There are loads of free and low cost online training courses on our website to help with things like, you know, an introduction to coding, basic understanding of programming, data analysis, Excel, Google Analytics, all these sorts of things. Okay, so now that we've debunked a couple of common falsehoods, for the next 10 minutes, we're going to focus on graduate job search strategies, and then we'll move on to questions. So, jobs tend to fall into two different categories, advertised and hidden. The first one we look at in this slide covers advertised opportunities. And this is when you find an opportunity that's being advertised and you apply directly for it. So advertised opportunities are obviously easier to find because they tend to be you know, out there, available, but because of this, they can be more competitive. And even within this category, not all advertised vacancies are advertised in the same way. So here you can find a few examples of where advertised opportunities can be found. I won't go through each of them in detail, but there are two main ways an opportunity can be advertised. On a job search website, and we've got lots of specific graduate job search websites on our own career service website. There's actually, I think there's well over 200 targeted graduate job search websites by sector on our website. So if you just go on to the careers website and then jobs and then go down to find graduate jobs, Sammy, if you wouldn't mind sticking that in the chat so people know where to look, that would be great. So that's the first one. And the second one is through an organisation directly. So it could be via their website, their newsletter, or their social media accounts or something like that. So we have lots of information on, you know, using recruitment agencies to find work. Career can definitely use Career Connect to search for vacancies. There's sector-specific websites, professional body websites, how to use social media to look for jobs. And there's a really good guide on just in general how to research employers and jobs. So just remember you're registered so you can access all the links. And we also have some great information on our website more specifically about specific websites you can use. So when you're applying for graduate jobs that are advertised, a few things to please remember. So don't worry about finding the perfect job. Your graduate job, your first graduate job, doesn't have to be your job for life. And actually, it probably won't be. You'll probably change jobs and even sectors many times over the course of your professional life. So in this way, let that take a little bit of pressure off you and focus on your first step. Ask yourself, okay, this is what I have. What skills and experience do I want to gain from the next 12 to 18 months? So think about it like that. Think about it in your first step. It's okay to take a short-term opportunity to maybe like a graduate internship or an MGT to help you figure out what you enjoy and what you're good at. Experience really is the best teacher. You often don't know these things until you're in a job and you're like, okay, I quite enjoy that aspect of the job, but I'm not a massive fan of that. In future, I'll look for jobs that do more of A. It is really, yeah, as you work, you figure out what you're good at, and then you'll know yourself to look for roles related to that particular responsibility, activity, or skill set. If you have your heart set on a particular sector that isn't hiring at the moment, or maybe the hiring levels are a wee bit slow to take off, or it's just difficult to get into, it could be a very competitive sector like media or sustainability or charities or international development, think about how you can gain the skills you need for that industry via other means. So for example, say you want to work in the media, but at the moment you're struggling to secure a graduate level position within the sector. Instead, think about the types of skills you need to flourish in the media. And so you need communication, relationship management, for example. And then think about the types of roles and job descriptions that will help you acquire and strengthen and evidence those skills in future applications. So think about like marketing, PR, copywriting, those sorts of things, all really, really good first graduate jobs or indeed careers that will help you get to where you want to go. And if you're not sure what you want to do, which is also absolutely fine, remember that you can book a careers guidance appointment on Career Connect with either myself or another careers consultant. So lots of people think that you could only book a careers appointment if you know what you want to do, but that's really definitely not true. I should have included that as one of the myths, actually. We can also support those of you who don't have a clue what to do next. So just remember, if you just take one thing away, remember to be flexible, open-minded and proactive, and go to as many events as you can. It's a great start that you're at this event. Be curious, find out about different roles, different organizations and different sectors, and take every opportunity and view it as a stepping stone. Don't view it as a lifelong, forever decision. Okay, so the second graduate job search strategy that you can use to tap into is the hidden job market. So only about 20% of jobs are openly advertised. 70% are secured speculatively. And much of the remainder, that 10%, is gained through networking. So that's why it's so important to look for jobs and be proactive. And remember that not all jobs are advertised widely or even at all. So this job search strategy, you know, the hidden job market, is very, very common in really competitive sectors, like I was saying, you know, the media, charity, design, environmental work. So to tap into the hidden job market, remember to be 3 C's: curious, connected, and courageous. So work on building your network and adapting your communication styles effectively in order to connect with others through different events. So go to events and fairs, talk to alumni and employers. We've got loads of employer panels, alumni panels. We've got the fair on Thursday, and make sure that you make a note of their name and connect with them on LinkedIn afterwards. And if you don't have LinkedIn, definitely create a profile. It's a great resource. We've got lots of information on our website to help you create your profile, to help you polish it, and make sure that your LinkedIn and your social media presence in general is portraying, you know, a professional self, and it showcases your experience and your skills and your achievements. And you can also apply speculatively to organizations, and we have lots of support to help you create a great speculative cover letter. And speculative applications are when you submit a cover letter and a CV to an organization to see if they have any opportunities available for you to get involved. So remember, 70%, 7 out of 10 on average, nobody can know for sure, but that's the prediction of jobs are secured speculatively. And we also have a couple of recordings there on how to navigate the hidden job market and how to expand your network and connections, which are actually brilliant. So if you want to find out more about that, definitely look at those recordings. So I've included a couple of quotes from alumni about the power of networking and how it can support your career. I won't read them word for word. I'll just summarize them, but you can always read the full quote when you get the slides. But our alumni here talks about how helpful alumni events can be when understanding what it's like to work in a certain role or a certain company. And then our next alumni, Anvi, shares her tips on how to connect with people after attending an event and how you can leverage these connections in applications and interviews. And that's why LinkedIn is so great. It helps you sort of make note of all your connections. Anvi also reminds us that there are lots of networking opportunities available, even if they're not face-to-face due to the pandemic. You know, this week is an example of them. There are loads of network opportunities available. Our next alumni is a STEM graduate, and he shares his experience of connecting with professionals on LinkedIn and how hearing alumni career stories has helped him forge his own career. So you can really learn from others. And we found that alumni are in general very likely and very willing to help other alumni and current students. And that's why so many do return to these career panels and alumni events, because they want to give back and they want to support students, because they remember very much what it was like being a student. So Liana says that LinkedIn was a very important tool in her own graduate job search strategy, and she shares some excellent advice and tips on how to network to find out more about what you want to do. So you can watch her full graduate career story on the graduate pages of our website. I would recommend that. Liana's fantastic. And Kawisha also did a graduate careers story video for us, and hers is also brilliant. So she talks about how opportunities can present themselves at any time. So you have to, be aware, and you never know who you're going to meet. So that's why it's so important to remain alert and curious. So I'm going to open up for questions very soon. But before I do, I want to show you a slide just summarising the kinds of tools and resources available to you to help you develop your own graduate job search strategy and where to find the jobs. So remember, you can continue to access the career service for 2 years after your course completion date. So it's one thing finding the jobs, it's another applying for them. So we have so much support available to help you with applications, assessment centres, psychometric tests, interviews, and there's a lot of resources on our website. So I definitely would have a look on our website as a starting point for templates, for application advice and things like that. You can also get instant personalized CV feedback and advice using CareerSet, which is our online CV checker, and students and graduates have access to that, free access, and it really is brilliant. There's 2 ways you can use it. You can use it to score your CV, so aim for, you just sort of feed it through the system and it gives automatic feedback, very detailed feedback on how your CV is at the moment and how you can improve it. And you can put it through as many times as you want. Aim for a score of 70 or above. You can also use the target my CV function, whereas when you feed in, that's when you feed in a job description and your CV, and it gives you advice on how well your CV is tailored to that particular job opportunity. So it's really useful. You can also book a 20-minute application advice appointment with one of our application advisors, and they can help you with cover letters, CVs, job applications, applications for further study, either at the University of Manchester or another institution, LinkedIn profiles, personal statements, all sorts. You can book a 30-minute practice interview with a careers consultant, or you can also practice video interviews, which are still very common at the moment, and I think they're here to stay, to be honest, even after the pandemic has passed. And you can use Graduates First or Shortlist Me to practice video interviews. Finally, I have mentioned this before, you can access free, impartial careers guidance and support from a careers consultant. Again, remember, for up to 2 years after you finish your course. And you can book this and loads more on Career Connect. Okay, so now it's over to yourselves. So let's take some questions. Oh gosh, there's loads. Okay. Sammy, did any questions come in when I was talking, or is it just the last sort of questions?
There's just a couple at the end there. One asking whether you can use speculative applications for bigger companies, or whether it works best for smaller companies.
Yeah.
And another one about length of CVs.
No worries. Great. Oh yeah, and I've got a couple of direct messages as well. That's fine. Okay. So for the participant who asked about speculative applications, I wouldn't rely solely on the speculative graduate job search. I would use it in conjunction with applying for advertised opportunities as well. So the two graduate job search strategies should complement each other in that way. So don't put all your eggs in one basket type thing. So there's no harm in applying speculatively. Especially for those competitive sectors. So my advice would be to go for it. Can't lose anything as long as it's professional and it's not, really pushy, and you're putting your best foot forward. Go for it. If my CV is too long, will it be automatically rejected? Someone had asked this. This is a good question, actually. Your CV, when applying for UK roles, the standard is 2 pages. So both sides of an A4. It can be a little bit different for some sectors, like investment banking is usually 1 page, and resumes for USA-based roles can be 1 page as well. Some organisations, particularly the larger ones, have something called an applicant tracking system, or an ATS, and they screen applications based on essential skills and format and things like that. Your application could be rejected by one of those systems if it is too long and it doesn't meet the criteria that they're looking for. So do try and keep it within the specified length. If you're struggling, we've got a couple of tips on our website. I would suggest putting it through skillset, because sometimes that can get rid of filler words and things. And just be really, really specific. Think about, okay, what job am I actually applying for? Instead of trying to put all your experience on the CV, think, what is the recruiter looking for? What skills and experience are they looking for? And why have I, go through your CV and think, why is that there? What am I trying to show them? And that way you can be really specific in what you're applying for. You can also book a 20-minute application advice appointment if you're struggling as well. So try and keep within the 2 pages, unless otherwise stated. Someone has asked, can you send us a link where we can find the how to improve our CV? Sammy, would you mind just sticking a link to the CV pages on the website, and also a link to skillset as well?
I've dropped the skillset in the chat. I'll just add the CV page as well. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Let's have a look. So for pharmacy, we need to have a training year, then 2 years of experience before applying for certain postgraduate courses. Would I be able to get advice on my application if applying for UOM by then? Of course you can. You can get advice on postgraduate applications or training contract applications, both for the University of Manchester courses and other courses as well. So don't worry. Obviously, we'd love if you stayed at the university, but if you are applying for another university, don't worry. Still take your personal statement to us, or your application, and we'll give you some advice on it, of course. We are impartial in that way. Someone has asked, I'm an MBA student, can you help me? So the business school has a postgraduate career service, and they offer specific tailored support for MBA candidates, so it's worth getting in touch with them. How can I contact the AMBS CV support? So if you email postgraduate careers at, is it MBS? Let me double check that. To the person who asked that, there is a specific email address. I don't know it off the top of my head. So just drop me an email and I will get it for you. I just put the email address in the chat there. It's just graduatecareers@manchester.ac.uk. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay, quite a lot of questions. Sorry if I missed them, but I'll try and get through. How far back can we go in terms of mentioning experiences in our CV? Good question. So the more relevant, the better. You want to have lots of relevant, up-to-date experience that you can talk about in applications and interviews. But if your experience is really relevant, definitely include it. So for example, say you're applying for, oh gosh, I don't know, work within a charity, say, or a graduate scheme for charities like Charity Works, and you maybe did some volunteering in first year with the charity. Why that might have been 2-3 years ago, or even longer if you did it in sixth form, do include it because it's relevant, but do try your best to get more up-to-date relevant experience as well, because that's sort of what they be more interested in. What have you been doing recently? I hope that answers your question. Are roles in MGT suitable for experienced graduates, mature students? Also, how would you differentiate MGT roles versus those advertised elsewhere? Really good question. 2 questions there. So the first one, are roles in MGT suitable for experienced graduates, mature students as well? Absolutely. MGT is open to all 2020 and 2021 graduates from the University of Manchester. You can't do more than one though. So say you graduated last year and you're coming to the end of a 12-month MGT internship, you can't apply for another one, if that makes sense. You can apply for as many if you want, sorry, but you can only undertake one. And they're suitable for all 2020 and 2021 University of Manchester graduates. How would you differentiate MGT roles versus those advertised elsewhere? To look for MGT roles, you go on Career Connect and you go to opportunities and search opportunities, and then just type in MGT or Manchester Graduate Talent, and in the job description it will say if it's a Manchester Graduate Talent vacancy, so you'll be able to know in that sense. But if you search MGT, you can find Manchester Graduate Talent vacancies. If you want to find out a bit more about that, come to the events on Friday. And also, if you have any specific MGT questions, I'll just give you the email address there, mgt@manchester.ac.uk. Okay, so let me see what other questions. I was going to show you on the website actually, bear with me 2 seconds. Okay. Okay, so sorry, I'll leave that to the end. So someone's asked a question. I completed my MSc last year. What is the job scenario for international students, as we require our Tier 2 visa to be sponsored by the employer? I would recommend that you have a look at our Working in the UK After Study pages. So there's lots of information about the new graduate route, the skilled worker route, which is formerly Tier 2, which is the one you're referring to there. We have more information on the Tier 5 government authorised exchange visa, and there's startup visas, and there's more information about different extension schemes and things like that. So I would have a look there. I would point out that the Career Service can provide basic information and signpost into visa options to work in the UK after study, but we're not legally authorised to give guidance on visas or support with visa applications. But if you do need specialist advice on visas, you can search for an immigration solicitor by location and legal issue that you need help with on the Law Society's website. And let me just put the link to that in the chat so you have it there. And also, I would recommend coming along to I think there's an international EU student and graduate FAQ session on Thursday, the same day as the fair. So have a look at that on Career Connect and come along to that for more questions about that. So what else have we got here? How do I become part of the alumni community after graduation? Great question. That's automatic. So as soon as you finish your degree, you automatically become part of the University of Manchester's alumni community. And we have over 500,000 alumni across the world in lots of different positions and sectors and locations. So alumni is basically someone that has successfully completed their degree from our university. So if you have already finished your degree, you're already an alumni. And there's lots of perks and events that go with that. Let's have a look. I didn't finish my degree. Can you help? Yes. We can support you for 1 year after leaving your course if you didn't finish your degree. Have a look at our eligibility period pages for more detail about that. And for anyone who has finished their degree, we can support you for 2 years after your course completion date. Okay, I don't have anything on my CV. Can you help? Yes. So I hear this quite a lot. I don't have anything on my CV. I don't have experience. I don't have the skills that the employers are looking for. I would say, firstly, think about the skills you've developed from your course, because you will have studied your course. We actually have an employability audit on the transferable skills pages that's mentioned in this this presentation. So I would have a look there at the skills that you have, how you can evidence them, maybe like teamwork through your course, communication skills, research skills, independent working, collaboration skills, ability to self-motivate, self-discipline. You'll have all gained that through your course digital skills. And then think about anything else you've done. So have you worked in a cafe over the summer? Have you worked in a bar during term time? Have you worked in a shop, retail, hospitality? All those sorts of experiences are worthwhile, and employers want to know about them. They want to know how you work successfully in a team when you worked in a busy retail environment, how you resolved conflict and delegated tasks when you worked in a hectic hospitality environment. And then when you have the employability audit and you have made sense of the skills that you already have, then start thinking about how you can develop new skills and what new skills you have. And definitely come along to the Boosting Your Graduate Job Search session, which I think is on Wednesday. So we'll talk about that in more detail, but think about online courses, think about volunteering, virtual work experience, all these sorts of things. So that was a good question, thank you. Okay, let me have a look. I would like to apply for a PhD rather than finding a graduate job. Of course, could the career service help and how? Absolutely. So Sammy, if you wouldn't mind just putting the postgraduate careers pages on the chat there. Thank you so much. We have a dedicated careers consultant for postgraduate study and postdoctoral research. Her name's Elizabeth and she's fantastic. And she offers lots of tailored and specific support on students who both want to go on and do a PhD, but also PhD graduates. So there's loads of support on our website, and we've got a PhD postgrad how-to guide. We run lots of regular events for PhD and postgraduate students. Sammy has just actually put in the chat there the link. We've got a whole specific guide on how we can help postgraduate research students plan their career, how to build the foundations of their career, how to get into research industry, academic careers, and we can also support with lots about what PhD do you want to do, where do you want to do it, how do you apply, we can look over your personal statement and things like that, your research proposal. So there are lots of ways. So I'd recommend maybe booking an appointment with Elizabeth or another careers consultant if you want to chat a bit more about that. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm just making sense of the ones I've replied to and the ones. Okay, somebody with an interest in venture capital. Can you please help? Yes. Good question. So we have specific pages. Let me just have a look so I can send you. Okay, yes. So sorry, 2 seconds while I pull up the, yes, okay. So if you go on to the which career pages of our website, and then you go on to the sector, so venture capital will be under finance. We have loads of information on investment banking in general, other financial services that may come under that, like fund management and stockbroking. So I would start having a look there, and we go through more information on where are the venture capital opportunities, what are investment banks, where are they, who are the main players that are hiring graduates, where to find roles within that area. Getting experience, I would say, is absolutely crucial, and it's important to start early when you're interested in that sort of sector. So really begin to explore the firms, the vocabulary that they use in their job descriptions, the different roles, and look for summer internships and work experience. Apply to the graduate schemes early. So most graduate schemes, a lot of graduate schemes advertise autumn time for the following autumn start. So, coming up to September 2021, they would be advertising for a September 2022 start. That's okay though, because you can apply for it then and use that year to work through the assessment process. We have loads of support on assessment centres, psychometric tests, different types of interviews, and use that year to get experience. Look on LinkedIn. Actually, this is a good point. Look on LinkedIn and use the alumni search tool to find alumni maybe from your course who are working in venture capital. Scroll right to the bottom of their profile and look at their early careers. What did they do after their degree? What did they do during their degree? What sort of organizations do they follow? Who do they work for now? Reach out to them. We have information on how to communicate with contacts. Just say, you know, I'm a graduate or a student from the University of Manchester, interested in venture capital. Would you have a couple of minutes to chat to me about your career path? I'd be really interested to know more, and start building those networks and that knowledge. Also, events, have a look on Career Connect for specific events. The application process, you know, a lot of investment banks follow a very similar process to other large graduate recruiters, so we can help with applications and interviews, and there are lots of different resources. So have a look at the unofficial guide to banking, e-financial careers, target jobs. There's a couple of websites to help you understand sort of finance and banking terminology. Money Week is one of them. Investopedia, I think it's called, is another one. Just have a look on the website, and if you're stuck, just let me know. But hopefully that's enough to get you going. Oh gosh, right, okay, sorry, there's a couple of questions. Where can I find part-time jobs to help boost my CV? Jobs on Career Connect are often not part-time or seasonal jobs. Good question. So there is a section on when you're looking for jobs on Careers Connect. It used to be called Careers Link. Sometimes I call it that. Where you can look specifically for part-time jobs, so you can you know, filter by part-time jobs. I would say if you're a current student, the university recommends that students work no more than 15 hours per week, or as advertised in your program handbook. But there's loads of ways, so you can have a look on Career Connect, but specifically use the part-time job filter. The SU job shop has jobs. Many part-time jobs are not formally advertised, so businesses can use social media, word of mouth, or just even a poster in the window. So you might have to ask around or contact companies speculatively to find opportunities. Job Centre Plus, recruitment agencies can be useful to find part-time work. There's Fish for Jobs, there's student jobs, just student jobs. You get the drift. Employment for Students, that's another one. Find a Job is a government-run job site with hundreds of part-time jobs. So, there's absolutely loads. If you go on to the jobs and experience section of our website and then click on part-time jobs, you should find more information about that. Okay, so we've just run out of time. Someone has just said that the EU and International FAQ event is not working. Sammy, did you?
I've just checked it. There's something that I don't know if the webinar link is broken. I will.
That's fine. Don't worry.
Email.
If anyone wants to attend that event, just drop us an email, and we will send you the link whenever it's fixed. Just put in the email address there.
I've just had a question asking how the recording will be shared, Jenny.
Yeah, no worries. So the recording will be on the Career Service YouTube channel probably next week. But if you register, you will receive the slides before then. But that's how you can access the recording. So just Google University of Manchester Career Service YouTube, or Sammy, if you wouldn't mind just sticking in the link as well. So we have just run out of time. Just shout out that, of course, this event is the first of many events in Future Week. So if you haven't already, I know I've referenced loads of events, but have a look at the bit.ly link there for the full programme, or you can just scan the QR code. The sessions that we have on today, we have a Tech for Tech session, which would be quite interesting. So tech is a booming industry, tech and IT and digital. And there are loads of employers who want to hire into that industry from students who don't necessarily have, come from tech backgrounds. That could be humanities students or, things like that. So it's worth coming along to. We also have a Tech for STEM career session. Great for networking with employers, find out more about opportunities. And this afternoon we have a non-linear career session, the new normal, and that's all about portfolio careers, and that actually could be really useful if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed with deciding what you want to do, what career path you want. My colleague Vic is delivering that, and that's going to be a good session, so have a look. Also, I did mention the Future Week Fair, which is on Thursday. We have over 30, I did say over 25 earlier, but now it's over 30, recruiting to different graduate positions. So you can talk to them directly. You just need to book your slot. So just search Future Week Fair. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for taking the time to join us today, and for all your fantastic questions, and thank you for the thank yous in the chat. So if you have any questions, you've got the Graduate Careers email address. There's also 2 other ways you can contact us. You just can go on the live web chat that's staffed 10 to 4 p.m. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day UK time, Monday to Friday, excluding bank holidays. And you can also ask us a question via the queries tab in Career Connect. I will stop sharing now, and I hope to see you at some of the later sessions today. Great. Thank you so much for your time, everyone.